Hello friends, this is PC Ren's Grammar, Chapter 19, Lecture 2, Paraphrasing and Summary. Points to be covered in today's class. Number 1. Summary writing will be done with the help of its introduction and rules. Then explanation with the help of examples will be done. Later on, homework will be assigned, and at last, discussion of previous homework will be done. Now the question will be rising in your mind that how to do summary writing. You might have done story writing, poem writing, you might have done paragraph, and now you have learned paraphrasing also. Now what is summary? You might have noticed that at the end of each and every chapter, say it be poem or a chapter, I always summarize that particular lesson or poem. So that is what summary writing. To give a brief, a small description, a small explanation of something is summary writing. Summary writing. The word summary is derived from the Latin word sum. When you write a summary, you reduce the length of the original text, a story, an article or a poem, and write a new piece in your own words that gives the essence of the original piece, means that gives the same meaning, the same explanation, but in small, in brief. So that is called summary writing, to sum up the story, article or any poem, as we do at the end of each and every lesson or a poem. A summary is a brief, clear statement giving the most important facts about something. In summary writing, we don't write everything or anything given in the lesson. We just cover and write the important facts that gives the essence of the story or a poem. Now, features of a summary. Which things can we include? Which things can be excluded from the summary, and how to write a summary? Number 1. A summary starts with a clear identification of the type of work, title, author and main point in the present tense. We just write all these things in present tense. It covers the important points of the original article. We do not include all the points, as I told you earlier, only the important points are to be covered. Phrases such as the article claims, the author suggests, etc. are periodically used while writing a summary as one's own ideas. Opinions or interpretations are never put in a summary. We do not write our opinions, like in my opinion it should be this, I interpret this thing to be like that. We do not interpret, we do not assume anything, but we write the things which are given in summary but in our own words, and after summing up those things, those sentences which are given in story, article and poem. Make sure when you are writing, you write story in past tense, but when you write the name of author, when you write the name of poet or the main ideas, main facts, that are to be written in present tense. Now, how to write a summary? Read the article to be summarized and be sure you understand it. Here understanding means be sure that you understand the meaning of that article. Until and unless you understand the meaning of that article, you cannot sum up in your own words. So, please understand the meaning of that article, whichever is given. Outline the article. Note the major points. You can underline the major points in the article which are given, and then later on you can write the summary of that article. Until and unless you outline, means there should be a mind map in your mind map there with you in your mind, only then you can write. There should be mind map that first of all you will write this, then later this, and then later on this. Only then you can summarize the things. That should not be jumbled, that should be in sequence. Write a first draft of your summary without looking at the article. Means once you have read it, then write it without looking at it. Make sure that you have the major points in your draft. And after writing it, then check it whether you have included all the points or not. If any of the point is left, include that, and then later on fare it out. That is the most important point of writing summary. Always use paraphrase, which I told you means you can change the language in your own language. Means according to you, you can change your language, but you cannot change the data. Make sure you don't change the data. If you do copy a phrase from the original, be sure that it is very important phrase that is necessary and cannot be paraphrased or cannot be changed in your own words. In this case, put quotation marks around the phrase. Means the phrase which is written as it is given in the article, story or poem, use quotation marks for writing that particular phrase, that particular data. Target your first draft for approximately 1/4 the length of the original. So here you might have understood that the length of the original text, length of the original article, poem or story should not remain same in summary writing. It should be decreased, even less than half. Here it is written 1/4, it can be less than half, or it should be 1/4 the length of the original text which is given to you. Any extra information and unnecessary details should be deleted from the summary. It means only important information is to be given and rest of the information should not be given if that is not necessary. To the point things are to be written in summary to clear it out. Now, read the following poem carefully and write a summary. The name of the poem is About the Teeth of Sharks. The thing about a shark is teeth, one row above, one row beneath. Beneath means downwards. Now take a close look. Do you find it has another row behind? Behind means at the back. Still closer, here I'll hold your hat. Has it a third row behind that? Now look in and look out. Oh my, I'll never know now. Will goodbye. It's written by John Ciardi. Now let me read this poem again for you. Then we will summarize this poem. The name of the poem is About the Teeth of Sharks. The thing about a shark is teeth. So here the poet John is talking about teeth of shark. One row above, one row beneath. Here poet is noticing that there are two rows of teeth in the mouth of shark. Now take a close look. Now poet is asking somebody to take a close look. Do you find? Means there is somebody with the poet. That's why he is saying to the second person, do you find? He is asking the second person, do you find it has another row behind? Still closer here. Now that second person who is standing just beside or just with the poet, he is taking the closer look and the poet is asking him to take his hat. If he would give him his hat, I'll hold your hat. Has it a third row behind that? Means that the person who is standing with the poet is looking into the mouth of shark and he is looking if there is any third row behind those two rows in shark's mouth. Now look in and look out. Oh my! Here this is the expression which is given by the poet. I'll never know now. Will goodbye. Here goodbye, we say goodbye to the one who is going from the life, who is losing his or her life. It means shark might have eaten that friend of poet. Now, let us read the summary that is being summarized from this poem. You might have understood the poem, the meaning. Let's begin. Now read the summary of the poem. In the poem about the teeth of sharks, the poet John Ciardi, here the name of the poem and the poet are written as it is given in the, as these are given in the poem, states that the scariest, means darane wali, scariest part of a shark is its teeth. It has a row of teeth in its upper jaw and another row in its lower jaw. The poet asks the reader to take a closer look and check if it has a third row of teeth behind. Now, as I told you, there might be his friend, but as the poet's friend tries to peep means to look into a thin line. So there would be a thin line opened in shark's mouth. So the poet's friend tries to peep into the shark's mouth. The shark swallows him or her in. So the shark swallows the poet's friend into its mouth. So now the poet will never discover if the shark has a third row of teeth as he bids goodbye to his friend. It means the poet has lost his friend as the poet's friend was trying to peep into shark's mouth to check if there is third row of teeth in shark's mouth or not. As they could see, the poet and his friend could see only two rows there in shark's mouth. So this is the summary writing. Here we have just summarized the poem. The main theme means what was the poem about, by whom has it been written, and what is the name of the poem. The explanation of the poem in brief has been explained here in summary. So now your homework is to summarize poem 3, The Quarrel, in your rough notebook. I have explained you the poem The Quarrel, that is there in your syllabus. That is what you need to summarize in your own words. That is to be done in rough notebook. Now previous homework discussion will be done. Paraphrase the following. I gave you four paraphrases to I gave you four lines to paraphrase. That is what we are going to solve. Number 1, symptoms of influenza include fever and nasal congestion. Its answer: a stuffy nose and elevated temperature are signs of having the flu. You can write it in another way also, but this is also the correct way. Number 2, the student requested that the professor excuses her absence, but the professor refused. The professor denied. Refused and denied both have same meanings. Mana karna, to say no. The professor denied the student's request for an excused absence. Number 3, there will be a music concert next to Vienna coffee shop. Would you like to go? Its solution: are you coming to a music concert in Vienna? Number 4, International Center is hosting English conversation classes. They help non-native speakers of English practice their English speaking skills. Its solution: English non-native speakers can improve their English by taking classes at International Center. Hope you are checking your homework regularly. Thank you.